right, well, welcome everyone to our third Grow Call, I think it is. Donna is not joining us today. She's in Michigan, but we can totally take care of this ourselves, right? So last time we talked about the Strong Start Call number 2, and then this week we recorded Strong Start Call number 3. Did anyone get a chance to watch it? I know it was a little lengthy one. Michelle, yes? Okay, so Strong Start Call number 3, if you're doing, I was trying to explain that in the video, if you're doing virtual consultants, then you would obviously go into virtual training. But I kind of wanted to hear your feedback on that because it is a little lengthy call to go through the whole cooking show. So I'm thinking about, and you guys could do that for yourself, recording my cooking show as a training and literally saying, okay, this is part 1, explain. This is part 2, explain, and then having, sending them that first, and then going into just the top part, how are invites going, who's on your recruiting list, blah, 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 blah. So how do you guys feel about that? Because I know it was a little lengthy, and after you do it with like 5 consultants in the same week, you're kind of like thinking, how can I make this better? Because it is basically a training call, right? So give me some feedback on that.
Claudia, I like that idea. I didn't watch listen to the call, but I read the script. And I think if they had a chance to view the video first of you doing the cooking show, then when you're talking to them about it, they'll have a better understanding of what you're talking about, as opposed to you're throwing out this information to them and they haven't, especially if they haven't done a show yet, or maybe this is after their first. Is this one after their first show?
No, this is actually, so call number 3 is 2 to 3 days before their launch party. So, sometimes we don't do launch parties because we're booked or because they're not local, but we still got to train them on it, right?
So I like your idea. I think that's really good.
I do too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've got a new gal who's got her launch party coming up next week. And I haven't done it like this necessarily because I'm going to go do her party for her. And her first friend that has booked the party is the very next night. And I told her I would come and do both of those. So me going to do her parties, is that not training enough? I mean, would I still send her videos?
I mean, you could. I mean, I guess, if you're going to do her party, she's basically watching in, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to still kind of give her a run through. So when she watches your show, she's paying attention and she's like, oh, this is what she was talking about. Oh, this is the closing. This is what she was talking about. So I would still run her through that because when it's her launch party too, she's not only the consultant, she's also the host, right? So she's probably busy making sure her friends are good. And so she might not get to pay attention as much as she wants to.
And those calls that you're talking about are on this site or are they on Landy Leaders? Where would I obtain those?
The third call, the script?
Yeah, the video you're talking about of your show.
Oh, well, I haven't done one for this specific part yet. But Casey, we have recipe night tomorrow and you guys could do it, or I can just record mine. So I'm thinking of literally like having like a sign that says, okay, show opening, here we go. And then explaining why we do it, right? So everything you're doing during that call, because a lot of times when we bring in a lot of people, like the first call, the second call, those are all, why and really digging into it. But something like a training call could be recorded and then just followed up with, I feel like it. So I just kind of wanted to hear your guys' opinion, because when if you do it once, it's not bad. But when you do like 5 of them in a week, you're kind of like, doing that a little bit. And you could do the same with the virtual party training, right? Send them the recordings or send them your training or our training and then say, okay, so let's talk about it. What did you think of, the host coaching? What did you think of the party packets? What did you think of the posting? And then you can just kind of run them through it, right? So I'll just share my screen real quick and show you where you guys can find call number 3. Now, by the time we're done, next week will be last call and we'll have call number 4. We'll put all of them in one Evernote file so you guys can access them. You guys can edit it to, however you like to use it. But again, call number 3 would be the first thing you want to do is check on their bookings, right? So on call number 2, you're following up with them. Did they get 4 parties? Did they get 5, 6 parties, right? So now you want to ask them, how are they doing? Are they set up? Do they have hostess packets? Did you set them up on Consultant's Corner? You want to check attendance for the grand opening party. So even if it's a virtual party, you can still talk to them about the importance of over-inviting and, you know, personally reaching out to people. Now, this is a great one, guys. If you're not doing that, if you're not teaching your consultants to bring in new team members right away, if we wait for this, they think it's kind of like an option. But if we teach them that right away, it's almost like booking a show, right? Booking a show, getting a recruit. It's not a big deal. And if we don't make it a big deal, they will never think it's a big deal. So you want to go, you know, I like to mention here, so, okay, let's bring out your launch list. So who are 5 people that you think would be great at this business, or that you would like to work with, or that you know are fun, or they love Paper Chef? Let's put some dollar symbols next to them. Okay, who are those people? Are they coming to your grand opening party? Can you bring them to a recipe night or a team training? And just kind of, you know, have them pinpoint or give them an option to set up a 3-way call with you and reach out to them, or give them the words to reach out to those people. And this is also a great time to check in with them. You know, last time we emailed you a little flyer about the fast track. We kind of hinted at it. Is this something you're considering? This is a great time to bring this up because, you know, we're all directors and we all want to promote more directors. So fast track is definitely one way to do it. And if they are interested, you know, then you can kind of set them up with a separate call to group them for this specific program. But really, you just want to build excitement for their first party. Again, whether it's virtual or a cooking show, you know, what are you most excited about? Are you concerned about anything? Find out what they're, you know, scared of. What recipe are you making? This is a good one because sometimes consultants will come up. I just talked to someone, they were like, we're making a Reuben sandwich. And I'm like, where did you get that from? You know, so I always like to encourage them to use the recipes that came in their kit. I like to remind them that the recipes that we do, in our shows, the recipes that come in their kit are designed for a reason. They show off the products in the kit. They're easy, they're duplicatable, and they're not like something, you know, crazy. So I always like to remind them, you know, if they have the big kid, I always go with bruschetta pasta. If they have the small kid, they can do the farmer's market pizza. So this would be a great time, you know, if they came to one of your shows, to ask them, what did they learn? And this would be, I think, a good time to bring up that cooking show video, right? If we could get that recorded, and then just say, okay, what are some things that you learned? But you do kind of want to go through the cooking show because, you know, if they're doing it on their own, you know, I always just like to tell them, I like this part, you know, that we're all looking for the same 3 things from every party. We want sales, we want bookings, and we want new team members. But you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan when you go into a party. And I like the example that they use here of the manual food processor, right? So I like this, and just to kind of give them maybe little tips, but I feel like we could save a lot of time if we could record some of this to give them an idea of, you know, what to do at their party and the different games they can play, recruiting, ticket game, and so on. And then, you know, the questions about the full service checkout. And the big thing is, again, you want to make sure you set a date after their first show. Sometimes, you know what, if it's their first show and I happen to be home and it is 9, 10 o'clock at night, I want them to call me right away because they're so excited at that time. I just want to hear it. How did it go? Oh my God, did you have fun? You know, things like that. So just make sure you set up a time to talk to them. The email that you send them afterwards is basically just everything they need for their show. So I have my cooking show training inserted in here. You can insert yours. You can use ours. There's steam show flyers. These are the show outline cards. They also come in the kit now, so they have those in the kit. And the ticket activity, just to kind of give them an idea of some basic questions that people might ask. So that's basically it for call number 3. So can you guys give me some feedback? Who has done any of these strong start calls and how do you feel about them?
I have not done an official number 3, although I have had these conversations.
Yeah, but I can leave.
But it wasn't like formatted, you know, like this. Like for example, the girl I was telling you about next week, we've already talked about her menu and her attendance and all that. But it wasn't like I had my book out and I wasn't going down through the list of things. Like I have not discussed games at the party. I haven't discussed those things. But I've done, 1 and 2. I've done calls in 1 and 2 with people, but not 3.
Okay. But 3's coming, right?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've done parts of 3, but I haven't done it by following the notebook.
Yeah. And the key, guys, really is you're building a relationship with these people. You're going to feel great because people are going to start thanking you and they can't believe the time you invested in them and the support they're getting. And you're going to be like, that was worth it. Right. So anyone else done these calls?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
I barely ever talk on these, but I'm really super excited. I'm the one that just put that big long email on I commented on one of your emails. So anyway, it just so happens that everything fell into place. The minute we started this program is when I signed somebody. So I've been able to,
Wow.
so yeah, I've been able to do my first call after we did our first call.
Oh, good.
I did fit in the second call technically before we did our second call, but I read up on it and did all of that. But and then one of my team members recruited somebody. So I did that first call as a 3-way call. And this person that's recruiting does want to become a director. So I'm training her right along with me. So then I don't have to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and absolutely right. That first call is crucial. You're getting to know why they're doing this. And that way, every single time you talk to them again, you can bring back to that, well, what you're doing, is that getting to what you wanted? Like they wanted to have enough to make their car payment every month. So, and they only booked 2 shows. Is 2 shows going to be enough to make your car payment? And they're going to be like, well, no. So I said, well, let's get 2 more shows booked. So, or 4 or whatever. And then again, what Claudia said about recruiting, don't let them think that that's an option, because recruiting, let's not call it recruiting. It's sharing this opportunity, because what has it done for you? It's changed your lives, right? So this could change other people's lives too. So if you think of it as that way and not necessarily recruiting, but you're helping someone else change their life for the better. And that's, if you relay that to your new recruit and say, let's start right away. Why wouldn't you want to start with a buddy? Let's do this together. Maybe you can have some friendly competition. Just right from the get-go, because that new person that I signed up has one really hot lead, is what we call it. And then a couple more people that she's asking business right along booking shows. So that's what we want. We want them to know that it's not just shows, it's sharing the business at the same time.
Yay, I love it. So excited for you.
I am on my way, guys. You're going to see me going up the line here.
Yes. We're gonna have you speak every time, Michelle.
No. I don't like to be heard. I like to be seen, not heard.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. And aren't they so much more excited and more willing to stay, and when they have a buddy, they're more like, oh, well, she's got 2 shows. Oh, I better catch up.
And it makes you more excited, and it helps you recruit more, because you're like, oh my gosh, I totally changed somebody's life. Who's next? So, and you want to keep helping them, and you want to get to the next person, and you want them to help somebody. And it's just, I had a retreat that we were talking about team culture, and it's something I never really thought of, and I want my team culture to be recruiting. I hate to say recruiting, but sharing the business, helping change other people's lives as well. So that's happening with my new people. I can't change. If your team's not changing, get new team, get new members. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I do have 11 people on my team, but they're all So I'm like, they're great. My 11 people are steady. They do what they want to do. I check in with them, but I'm starting another team. So this is my go get 'em team, and that's where we're going.
Good. Awesome. I love it. And yeah, so you are, you always got to lead by example, and they will follow your lead. They're going to see that this new consultant just recruited someone. They're like, well, if she did, we could bring someone on. I could bring someone. And that's how that momentum starts building, and you're creating that culture, and you're teaching your team, right? And things are just going to start happening, and your team's going to get excited. So awesome. Yay, I'm so excited. Anyone else done these Strong Start calls? Any feedback, comments, objections? No, I'll never do them. Tell me why.
I have a question. I do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be talking so much, but from when we first started introducing this Strong Start program, I may be wrong, but I thought that if they did not get their 6 bookings, when you say, let's restart the clock, and maybe this has changed. I thought we were supposed to say, okay, so this call is done. We will restart the clock. And when you get your, I'll give you another 24 for 48 hours, and then we'll come back to this call again. We're not doing that anymore, or am I just mistaken and that was from something else?
Well, we are. So you do have to, decide on a personal level. I mean, you're going to have some people that are like, yeah, I'm on it. I'll book virtual party. I'll book this. Yeah, I'll do it. You can challenge them to have 6 parties, right? But then you're going to have some people that are just overwhelmed at the thought of booking 1 party, right? So some of those people, you have to give them like, okay, well, let's do 1 party, and then we'll talk again, and then we'll talk about the next party. So you can't like cookie cutter it, right? But the way I kind of cut it down by saying, okay, we'll have 1 virtual party, 1 virtual launch, 1 local launch, and then you're going to find a host that's going to do a virtual party right alongside your launch, right? So you can watch and learn and train at the same time. So that's 3. So now then I challenge them to get 3 or 4 more. So it doesn't sound like so scary because they already have 3.
Like if they didn't get any, then you are restarting the clock.
If they have nothing, yeah. But I will tell you, I've had people where I just had to get through 1 launch party because they were just, you have those people. They need like step by step, 1 thing after, and that's okay. But as long as you're talking to them and communicating them, but that's where you realize right away who your fireballs are. When they come back, they have 6 bookings. They'll tell you they have 3 leads. They're going to set up, 3-way calls and be like, bam. You're going to fast track. They just don't know it yet, but they will. Yeah. Right? Awesome. Any other feedbacks, guys?
Claudia, I did my first call. I had 2 recruits last week that signed, one at the beginning of the week and one at the end of the week. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And one of them I did the first call with. It's a husband and wife team. So the call went a little longer than normal because the husband is the one that's the chatty one.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, and they're super excited. And then I have this week, I have Monday night, I have a second call to do with that husband and wife team. And then Wednesday night, my recruit that signed up on Friday, I'll be doing my first call with her. We've already been texting back and forth, but I met my second recruit, I met Wednesday night at a kind of like an apartment open house thing. I had a host that was going to do a party, but she's a leasing manager, and she was doing this open house thing. And she said, I think I'd rather just have you come and be at my open house than hosting the party. So to myself, I'm thinking, okay, I know that's not going to be any sales there, but I thought I'll still do it. It's exposure. And that's what she was hoping for me. And sure enough, this lady walked in and we started talking. She was really, look at the products. I don't even know if she knew that much about Pampered Chef, but I started talking to her about it, and I had the brochure ready to hand it to her. And before I knew it, she was asking about the business, and I gave her the brochure. She goes, I'm going to do this. And she's been praying. She works full time, but she's been praying for an opportunity for something to supplement her income. And she loves to cook. She loves people. She said, this is the answer right here. And she is, as a matter of fact, she texted me since we've been talking to confirm our call on Wednesday night. And she is so excited. So,
and this is why everyone needs to recruit all the time consistently, because sometimes you have team members that drive you crazy, right? But like those new people that need you, that are excited, they fuel you, right? They like make us go like, yay, she's calling me, or
But I feel like I am, the whole time I'm talking to them and reading through these scripts, I feel like I'm retraining myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It comes back to me. and it refreshes my memory, and it makes me realize some things I'm not doing that I need to be doing.
Right.
So,
We always got to lead by example.
yeah.
Right. And I don't know, Claire, you know this from Lead Plus, right? Directors direct, leaders lead, and inspirational leaders inspire. Right. So difference in that, right? All right. Any other feedback on that?
I've been doing the calls as well, and
Yes.
I have 2 new recruits that I am working with. I've done call 1 and call 2. They both went out. They both did launch parties. They've both probably got between 8 to 12 shows.
Wow.
So yeah, they're really surprised me. One of them actually submitted their very first show today. I mean, they didn't knock it out of the ballpark, but it was something to get that ball rolling. And they said, oh, well, I can do this. So, definitely don't give up on it. Keep going, and it's worth it.
And it gets easier, right? The more you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have one of my people, she signed someone, and the person didn't want the phone call. They don't want to be told what to do. And so I'm already struggling on how to handle this person because they refused phone calls from her director, which is me. They said, no, we don't need somebody to give us a
And yeah, and some people will. I always try and tell them, that it is our job to make sure they have all the tools they need to get off to a strong start. So I highly always encourage them. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I do want to make sure I get you off to a strong start.
And Claudia knows what she's talking about with that, because she's had that with my team, that I had consultants that don't want anything to do with it. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to do the training. So she knows what she's talking about with.
And you know what? You can ask, you can do a little push, because they plan on not talking to you anyway. So at least you can say you've tried, But the funny part is then when those people come and say, well, how do I put it on order? Then I always go, okay, we need to schedule our first training call. I always bring it back to that. Or they're like, well, how do I set up my account? Hey, we really need to schedule that first call. Like this, like to just, if I can just get them on the phone and find out what their why is and why they're doing it. But not everyone's going to do it. You're going to have those people that will just sign for, I guess, whatever reason. So, all right. Any other feedback?
I had a new gal this last week, and I just talked to her just a little bit ago, and she said, oh, I only got 5 shows. And I said, but we have yours too. And she goes, that's right, I have 6 shows. So she's really excited.
Yeah. Isn't that funny though, how they start to think well, I only have 3. That's still 3 more than we had when we first started, right? Awesome. So how do you feel about the Strong Start calls?
Good. It feels so much more comfortable. So thank you very, very much for doing this.
They didn't come from me. I just copy and paste. But it just gives you structure. When someone joins, this is what needs to happen. That call has to happen, or nothing else will get accomplished. I mean, it might, but if you can help it, it'll be better.
It serves as accountability for us too, to follow through what we're supposed to be doing. Because it's real easy to get, for me, I need that structure because I have working full time and all these other things I have going on in my life. It's real easy to find yourself doing this, juggling, and things can fall through the cracks. So that keeps you on task.
Yeah. And I mean, you can schedule them, if you're only available Tuesday and maybe Saturday, then schedule them around them. And if a consultant happens to join and she needs to wait 3 days, then, it is what it is. I'm just going to have to wait 3 days,
Right.
So it just kind of depends. Okay. So the other thing we wanted to talk about is there anyone else on here that has been doing 8 shows, 2 recruits a month, either or, that can kind of share what that has done for you in your business?
I've tried 8 shows, but I can't seem to get them. But that doesn't count.
You've tried to book 8 shows, is what you're saying?
I've struggled since January. I don't know what my issue is.
Keep asking.
Well, March.
1 month you have it, it's going to fuel you.
March I had 4 cancellations. That killed me.
Yeah. So you make sure you overbook yourself too.
But are you talking about virtuals too?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, then I have 6 that are starting tomorrow,
Okay.
along with the 3 that I closed earlier this month.
And you're almost green as a director.
Yes.
Do you feel like that
Well,
helps? I mean,
one of my new recruits, what's odd, and Lori says only weird things happen to me for some reason, is that she submitted her show and then it never posted in my today's sales report. So I called the home office about it on Saturday, and she said they're not in till Monday, but they're backlogged. I said, okay. So then another one of my downline posted a $600 party, and it popped up in my sales report. So I thought, okay, well, the person we're talking about is not the most technologically savvy person. So if we could just verify that she legitimately submitted the show. She goes, yes, I've gotten 2 emails from Pembroke Chef that I closed the show. So I said, can you send me those? And so she's like, yes. And so sure enough, she has an email that says, thank you for submitting show number 1, but it is not showing up in my sales reports.
Lisa, you're not the only one.
showing up?
What's that?
It's still not showing up?
It's still not showing up.
Okay. So
But I have the email that shows that she submitted the show. So
Okay.
I can call them clearly tomorrow.
Yeah,
They're
I would
barely
call
off on
them
the
tomorrow.
weekend.
They'll fix it.
It could be that the show is on hold for whatever.
Yeah, that happened
Crazy
to me, if
reason.
you remember, too, where my
Yeah.
show, and Lori's like, I've never heard of that before. So
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but it happens.
I don't feel so bad now. Yay.
But,
Claudia and I joke, if anything can happen, it happens to me. So
me
yeah,
too.
the important thing is, if you want to grow, if you want to be always green without having to worry about the 5,000, 8 and 2 is your magic number. And when we started these Lead and Lead Plus programs, and they said, we have to submit 8 parties and we have to recruit 2 people, my head already went, okay, so 8 plus 2 is 10, right? Because if I'm giving 2 parties away, I really need to book 10, and then 1 or 2 will cancel. So I need to have 12 parties on my calendar to be safe. Right? So leaders never think to minimum, right? So if they say 8, I'm not booking 8, I'm booking 12 just to be safe, because I hate last minute.
I just keep booking them, honestly. I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like after the fact, I do numbers and I go, oh, but I just like in my scurrying, I'm just like, I don't know, just keep booking, I just am automatically constantly asking. But what I am finding out is that I'm getting more away from private messaging because there's just some element of confusion and non-confrontational junk where people get very passive aggressive and not clear with you. And one of the people that I thought was clearly going to sign on, who's having a party starting tomorrow, is going behind my back to the person who had the party and saying, I don't want to have this be my launch party. I don't want to be a consultant. I just want to have a party. And I'm like, then just say that. Like, I don't know how hard that was for you to just tell me that. Like, you know what I mean? So now I'm doing more host coaching on the phone where I can go over it and hopefully get a legitimate answer, because this private messaging stuff is
Well,
just.
a lot of things can be misunderstood.
I think so.
Right. A lot
Especially
of
when you're like asking a question, they think it's pressure, but you're like, I was just asking a question. Like, I'm not, like, so anyway. I guess that's, for me, the biggest thing is trying to make it more personal, relational, and even that's why I was a little bit late. I have those 6 parties, and I'm doing an intro live the night before in every party to introduce just from what we're doing in the 6 weeks to success and the calls that we're listening to about relationship and building relationships so that it's more personal and they know you as a person. And I think especially in the virtual realm, people don't really think of us like a person. They think of us like a Candy Crush game that they could just check in and play a game to and then disengage. And so trying to build the relationship, and so at least they can see me and that I'm a real person behind doing this, and build the excitement of the party online just like you would in a cooking show, I guess.
Right. I highly agree. Yeah. It's all about relationship with your host, relationship with your team, and everything else will fall into place. But, we do want to encourage you to really try and go to submit 8 parties and recruit 2 people, and do that for like 3 months, and your team is going to explode. Your sales are going to explode. You'll never have to worry about 5,000 and being green. Because remember, those new people, that's where most of your team sales come in. Even my personal team, right? the new people, it's always the people on the bottom that just joined that are doing 1,000, 2,000 because they're having launch parties. They're just joining. Those are the people that are constantly bringing in sales. So as long as we recruit 2 people a month, you guys should never be struggling. Any other tips on 8 and 2? I know Donna posted some testimonials. Anyone else? Casey, you just started lead. Any feedback on that?
I've noticed with doing 8 shows consistently, it's not that I became dependent on the money, but it's nice to have the extra money. So those months that I may have, 5, 6 shows, and I'm going, what can I do to get, up to 8 or more than 8? So it's definitely not only helped me, but I've seen that my consultants are kind of watching too. And it's almost became like a competition to see, which one of us is going to be green first, which one of us is going to have the higher amount, so we're all kind of feeding off each other. And I've got one consultant, she's knocking it out of the ballpark. So, just be honest with them, and, they're there to help. They want to help. So, that's been really nice too. They're starting to recruit. I was honest with them saying, hey, this is something we should be doing. We shouldn't see it as, being pushy or something like that. We're helping people. And, I have one recruit right now, and she's young. She has a little boy, and she is super excited, and she's got 12 parties booked, and, she's going for it. So, listening to these trainings is definitely going to help. So,
yeah. And, when we do encourage you to go for 8, that's what you were saying, like you stretch yourself. So even if you maybe have 4,000 sales and you have 7 parties, it would be like, I'm good, right? But like when you have to, you go that extra party, right? That extra party could result in 2 recruits, could be your next fast track. It's just a matter of being in front of enough people and having enough sales and, being in front of enough people to bring new team members on. So I highly encourage you. And if you want an accountability partner, even if you're not in Lead or Lead Plus, you just got to reach out. I like to kick butts and keep you accountable. So if you need somebody, I'll do it. So 8 and 2 is the magic. And I think every director should definitely lead by example and do that. And I can guarantee you, if you do that for 3 months in a row, your business is going to explode. Right, Claire?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me and Claire have been doing this for a while. 8 and 2. Okay, and that brings me to another thing I want to talk about, because Casey just said, you told your team, like, we should all recruit, you shouldn't be pushy. Donna posted her little personal Share the Love board to track her personal team goal for recruiting. I highly recommend you guys do that. I just ordered mine through Office Depot, and you should have your team one, right? Your organizational one, and have that in front of you. Mine is right there, the red one. But you should also have a personal one to really keep your new people in front of you. So when you look at a wall, if you look at this piece of paper, right away, who are my people I need to be constantly in touch with, right? My last 5 recruits. You should always be in touch with them. And it just kind of helps you keep it in front of them. But you should all have some kind of goal. If we don't have a goal, if we don't stretch ourselves, we're just kind of like in la la land, right? So I highly recommend you guys, if you have not set a team recruiting goal or personal recruiting goal, do it. And remember to check your Excellence Awards tracker. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Consultant Connection, Excellence Awards tracker. All of you can still earn Excellence Awards in sales, recruiting, or developing leaders. And I know you get fancy jewelry, but I like the 500 Pampered Chef dollars. Oh, wait, Lisa's probably going to love that, Pampered Chef dollars. I didn't know that last year that you even got Pampered Chef dollars. I thought that was way cooler than jewelry. But, we would love to see all of you on stage for another reason at national conference. So, but check that, because I didn't know about it until I was close and Donna reminded me. So make sure you check it so you know what do you need by May in order to make it happen, because we have like 3 months left to do so. The other thing is Wednesday, March 22nd is a Get the More You're Looking For call. So make sure you share that with your team members, especially your new consultants. Just get as many people of your team on this call, and we're going to do a Get the More You're Looking For call and tell people about directorship and how to get there and why they would even want directorship. And then starting the following Wednesday, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m., we're going to have our director bound group that is now called Moving Up. That's the new name for the next 6 weeks. It's always going to be Wednesday night at 9. And we understand that not everyone's going to be able to be on at the same time, so there will be a recording. But me and Donna have decided that we're going to lead this one. We're just going to tag team it because we want to promote lots and lots of people by conference. So we hope you guys will join us and you will get your team members on board, and make sure you let us know who is in and who wants more on your team. And I highly encourage you to reach out to everyone, offer it to everyone. Sometimes people's life changes, maybe people that haven't done anything in 6 months, this might be their time to shine. So make sure you personally invite everyone on your team to the Get the More You're Looking For call. Any questions about that?
No, when did you say the Moving Up was going to start?
It's going to start March 29th, and it's going to run until April.
Okay. And what is the other one? Get the More
You're Looking For call is on the 22nd, this Wednesday.
At what time?
At 9. They're all going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time.
I'd like to share, I had a consultant that I recruited, I'm going to say well over a year ago. And she started off pretty good, but she told me, she was honest from the start. She said, my son's in senior year of high school. He's heavily involved in like the racing at Langley and all. And he said, when it got to that season, she wouldn't be doing much. Well, she didn't do much for a good while. And I thought, okay, I've lost her. But sure enough, she popped back up, and she did like $800 last month, and she just did a $1,000 show last week, and she's got an online party going. So, and she's starting to attend training again. So that's an example of someone that, kind of fizzled out, and now she's ready. It was just a season she was going through. She just couldn't be focused. So, but all the while I would reach out to her and say, hey, you want to go to training? How are you doing? Sometimes it was just, how are you doing? I hope all's well with you. And she stayed in touch, and it worked out.
And this could be someone that you could reach out to and say, hey, I'm having this, new Strong Start thing I'm teaching people. I would love to run you through it and relaunch your business with some teamwork.
That's a good idea.
Right. Okay, so the other thing we have a couple minutes left. We wanted to brainstorm. You know how like when you, at the end of the month, you struggle because you're like 500 short, 1,000 short, and we have all these fabulous people that always come up with great ideas of how to come up with sales in like the last 2 weeks if you need them, right? When you're promoting directors, there's always the last, couple hours where people are like trying to sell things and get sales. So I would like to take some time to brainstorm, or for you to share your ideas of how or what people can do to come up with sales in the last week of a month. Like if you're $1,000 short, if you're $2,000 short, if you sign someone, or and they need sales, like what are some ideas? Because we would love to just have a list. When someone is close to promoting and they're $1,000 short, to say, hey, look through this list. What can you do? Right. And I know many of you have done it, have produced thousands of dollars in sales in, matter of hours sometimes. So any ideas? So what would you do if you needed like $1,000 or $2,000 now until the end of the month? What would you do? Or what would you tell your future director to do?
When I went director, I had to do it because I was down on sales, and I did a freezing meal workshop but it was, the actual workshop was the following month, but I had to get the sales in that month. I had never done a freezing meal workshop, so I didn't know how that was going to go, but I figured I'll worry about that next month. This month I just need the sales, so that worked for me because, it got me some sales, and the freezing meal workshop went okay. I learned something though. I learned not to I had people commit to coming to the freezer meal workshop, and I ordered their stuff, and then they canceled, and I had all the pantry items.
They didn't pay for it?
No. They
Oh,
haven't.
okay. Yeah, always have them pay, because then when they cancel, you can be like, okay, I have your stuff ready for pickup with your printout.
That's what I'm saying. I learned from them.
Yeah. We always learn, right? We never stop learning. Any other ideas?
I think a lot of people will put about the outlet store on Facebook, but sending messages, emails to people makes a huge difference. And the other thing are the kids in the kitchen and doing pre-orders. I've been doing cake decorating with them and having them get the decorating set and the drizzler. And so those are all pre-orders. So just anything you can wrap your head around with.
And then you do a class?
Yep. I did one last Sunday. And yeah, they had a blast.
That's
Did you
cute.
say that was with kids?
And now the adults want to go.
Your
This
class
could
was
be-
with kids? Claire? Your class? What
It's hard
I'm
to
sorry,
hear
what?
you, Cindy. You got to speak up a little.
Oh, on our local meetings, it seems like no one can ever hear me. So I said to Don, I said, can anybody hear me? I feel like nobody's listening. So I wonder where my volume button is.
It's better now.
I don't know.
Is your phone plugged in?
It's my what?
Is your phone plugged in? Because if mine's plugged in, people can't hear me as well. I don't know why.
No, my phone is not plugged in, no. So anyways, my question to you, Claire, was it a kids class or an adult class?
It was a kids class, but I found that the adults want to help and want to do it. So I just put out a notice to do a kids and adult class. And then I had a bunch of adults that were interested. So I'm going to run a kids class and then an adults one separate too.
Would you mind sharing maybe some wording that you used on the leaders page?
Okay.
The other thing I was thinking though, when you were saying kids class and baking set, you could even do, how people took the baking set and the bowl, the turquoise bowl, and made an Easter basket. You could have parents pre-order it and then maybe buy some clear paper and bows and have them just come and fill that Easter basket with some other candy and eggs, and they could assemble it and take it home. And that baking set is, it's a couple, what is it, I don't even know, $50, $60 something. 10 of those is a $600 show.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people are looking for non-candy things, at least not a ton of candy. I'm right there with them. So that could be something too, right? What else could we do? If you need $1,000 in sales today, what would you do?
Well, if you're willing to invest a little bit, you could always do free shipping on $100 orders, or maybe 10% off or something like that.
Yeah, free shipping on $100 orders, plus they get a free gift, right? That's always a good one. What else? I know we have some powerful brains on here.
You can do, I would run a virtual rock class. Right now I'm doing an auction with some products that I have around the house, and it's very interesting to watch what somebody would pay for something when it's in an auction style, it's almost near the full price. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to contact all these people who don't win these products, and I'm going to have some rockin' sales from this. So
are you doing it for just local people?
Local, because they have to pick it up, but I have made an exception that if they are not local, they have to pay the shipping.
So how are you doing it? How are you doing the auction? How is it set up?
I have an auction page, and I just have some products that are sitting around the house, but probably more than normal because it's 19 years of products here. But But it is really interesting, and I'm posting them at half off,
Are you
and then they're bidding on them all week long, and it's crazy. It is so funny. And I had them add friends, and if one of their friends purchases something and wins it, then the person who referred them gets an extra gift. And I also put out there today, if anyone books a show, lets me know this week and we set a date, then I'll give them $20 off of their purchase. And I have some things for recruiting too. So this is my first time trying this. First time.
You'll have to share some screenshots and wording,
Mm-hmm.
and that sounds pretty interesting and fun. So you have a separate Facebook group for that?
Yeah. Yep.
That sounds fun. And it's like just that, using that extra product that you have to the fullest potential. Because it's one thing to just sell it,
Right.
but it's another thing to get more out of it. So very smart. I love it.
I think all our wheels are turning now. We're like,
I know.
I have some products. I know that's interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously that's something that, if you overdo it, that's not going to get exciting again. But if you do it every now and then, maybe every 6 months or something, people are going to be like, that's
So
cool.
can you do that on Facebook, Claire? As long as it's in your group?
If it's in a group, yeah.
It's okay. I'm always afraid to post too many things on Facebook. I'm just afraid of the Facebook thing.
I've never been put in jail.
I did some through SendShare, and then I did some through just posting because I would take pictures. Yeah, today I should have been in jail, really.
Well, we're glad you're not in jail.
But I would definitely, I know there's some rock classes, any of those, you can do them live or virtual. I would go ahead and do some of those if I needed that, just to get that interest, because we think a lot of people know so much about it, but not everybody does.
Yeah. What else could we do?
The rock class.
Rock class?
I think she asked what it was.
It's just making food in your rock. Be like having a stoneware class or a deep cover baker class, or pick a product and really focus on it. Salad in a jar class, any of those.
And remember, you can always book virtual parties too, right? If you have 10 days in a month left and someone needs $1,000 in sales, it's not too late to go book some virtual parties, run them for maybe do a live one or run them for a couple days and close them out still too. And the other thing I can think of too that just popped up is sharing that goal with people. Sometimes people just want to help, right? So sometimes we're close to earning excellence in sales, or we're close to earning a trip, right? In December, you'll start seeing all kinds of people sharing how close they are to earning their trip. I'm $2,000 away. Every sale counts, and people are willing to help when you share what you need to.
That was part of our 6 weeks to success thing too, that she said, be very intentional.
Right. And personal, right? Personal. Not copy and paste the same thing to 100 people. Not personal. Pick up the phone, text, whatever you got to do. Okay, so we have 9 minutes left. Anything else you guys want to talk about? So this is the GROW program to make you a better director, better leader. Any other director struggles you guys want to talk about?
I guess for me, I have a question for you about with recruiting, finding the line between assertive versus pushy. Like you're giving information and it's being construed as pushy. Like where does the line go with that? Or is it just certain people are sensitive?
I wouldn't get too hung up on some people. Some people are, but I always say if you feel like you're being pushy, you probably are being pushy.
Well, and I mean, in my case, especially when it comes to like a launch party, saying, like, I just need to know before the party starts if you'd like to do this, because then you get a check from it. And so I guess that's what I'm saying to you, even when I'm having conversations with hosts and stuff, trying to, because I don't find myself to be a pushy person, and I don't want to be conveyed that way. When you are passionate about what you do, and it's like a no-brainer that I don't understand why anyone wouldn't take the 75% discount on a kit.
I would maybe change my wording, and instead of saying like I need to know, more like, hey, before I set up your party, I just wanted to check in and just see have you ever considered doing something like Pampered Chef? I can easily turn this into your launch party. Not only would you get the hostess reward, but you also would make money from this party right away. What do you think? I can say this like this because I say it 100,000 times a month, right? It's the same thing over and over. But maybe instead of I need to know, now it's about you.
Well,
right?
this was at the tail end of the after the original conversation of her saying, like, I still have time to decide because the party doesn't close until the 30th. And that's when it came back to, not converting the orders and that I need to know that before the orders start coming in. That's what I'm saying. It's not the original conversation, but I guess for me, like I said, I don't find myself to be a pushy person, but I'm trying to evaluate when someone says something like that, like what that looks like, how it's non-threatening, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
like there's a line, like I don't want to be like passive about it. Like if you're passive about it, every once in a while you're going to find someone like Tanette that's already going to have it like, oh, okay, well, I could totally picture myself doing that. Like, how do I do that? Like, you're going to have a few people that are going to approach you because they want to do that. But what's that going to look like for you what's the difference between overcoming objection versus being pushy? I guess is what I'm saying. Because we learn to overcome objections, but when, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
And I mean, that's what I ask at the beginning, is do you want to turn into a launch party, blah, blah. And very rarely someone's like, yeah, sign me up, right? A lot of times it's like, oh, I don't know, maybe, we'll see. So then throughout the party, I would just, instead of always asking like officially, right? Like, oh, I just like to throw out little things. Like if they have 30 people going in like 24 hours, I'm like, oh my God, like, why are you not doing this? Or holy cow, we haven't even started. It's a pre-party. You already have $300 in sales. Like, why are you not doing this again? And knowing the people too, right? When you coach your host and you pick up the phone, like I know, Lisa, you've been doing, knowing them and saying, I know you work full time. And I know most full-time workers, it covers the bills, but there's no money for extra. And I know you would love to take your son, to the movies once a month. Do you think you could do it for something like that? And bringing it back to that why. And I've been saying that a lot because I used to work full-time, and most full-time workers, right? It covers the bills. You're used to it. It does what it needs to do. But if you wanted extra to maybe pay off debt faster, if you wanted extra to, for a family vacation, you don't have that extra typically with a full-time job because it kind of just covers what it needs to cover and everything's budgeted for, right? Everything's budgeted for, whether it's savings, college plan, it's all budgeted for, at least for most people. So Pampered Chef can give you the extra, right? This actually brings me to something else because we have 5 minutes. Did anyone watch the Marna Ross thing about how she introduces the kit options? What did you guys think?
I started to watch it and it was hard to hear. Obviously, I have something wrong with my computer.
No, I had a hard time hearing it too. There was a lot of background.
Huh. I had to turn mine
up. It improves though. Like she had her mic.
Yeah.
That was true, but then they've had to put like a lapel mic on her, and she had to come. Like so, there was a conversation about that. My phone kept ringing during the experience, and it reset the YouTube every time that happened. So, but yeah, if you keep watching it, like it fixes itself with the sound.
Is this the one with the whole show? She's like in a garage.
No, it's not.
She's at Lead Plus.
I'm
so basically at the end of the party, and this is a person that's been signing 8 people a month consistently, and this could be used for virtual parties too, to just go live. But basically at the end, she always brings the everyday pan, and she always brings like the manual food processor, so like bruschetta pasta, fajitas, right? Good recipe, and she sells them on the everyday pan during the party. And then she says, so listen, like I saved the best deal for last, and I might not get the wording right, but she's like, I saved the best deal for last because it is the best deal. So we were talking about the everyday pan, right? If you want to buy it, it's $119. If you want the manual food processor, it's $50. So I want you guys to turn to page 63, and I want you to look at these 3 amazing starter kits that Pampered Chef has to offer. Now we have 3, but I'm going to focus on the one in the middle, the 159. If you look at it for, the same amount, if you just want to buy the everyday pan for like $40 more, you can have the everyday pan and everything else, and you can try this business out. And then she goes into, so I'm sure, maybe you're just like that person that wants a good deal. How many of you have like that Mary Kay consultant or that Avon consultant, that friend that just does it for the discount to help her friends, right? Maybe you want to be that person. Maybe you just want a good deal. And this is the other one I like, where she's like, how many of you work full time? Okay, where do you work? Okay, so what would you say if your employee would say, hey, every Wednesday night, could you stay an extra couple hours? Could you work a little overtime and I'll pay you an extra $400 or $500 a month? Could you see yourself doing it? Most people will say yes. Well, this is what it's going to be like. If you want to be a full-time worker but still do Pampered Chef on the side to cover any extra, bills, expenses, you could work one night a week, or you could even just do one virtual party a week, and you could bring in some extra income. And then, maybe you're someone like me that, hated the job or whatever and is looking to build a business. And we're looking for those types of people too. So I like the way she gives them different personalities. And you know how we have that one picture, it's like, try this apron, comes in different sizes. She walks them through those different sizes. And then she has little party packets ready, with the recruiting info. And she, asks people to grab one if they're interested. And I think, I don't know, there might be some other things I'm missing. But then at the checkout, she just says, okay, which kit would you like to order? And she tells them, you can order a kit, you can have the deal, as long as you agree to have one show, catalog, cooking, virtual, just have one party. If you're going to book a party anyways, order the kit, I'll come help you, and then we'll go from there. And we know once that initial investment is, once that initial like, oh my God, I ordered the kit, like that fear is over, they're like, well, most people will say, well, I already have it, why don't I at least try it? And then they're going to get their first paycheck, and they'll be like, this wasn't too shabby. Right, so I highly encourage you guys try it. You could try it on your virtual parties as well. Just go live or record a video, or put it in wording, whatever you want to do, and go from there. Because we all want to build a team, right? All want to grow. That's why we're here, all directors, right? All right. Any other questions before we hit 9:30?
About what you just said, because I'm just kind of not confused, but so Marna is asking the people to just have one party? I mean,
no, we're not asking them to just have one party, but we're encouraging them that if they want the deal in the catalog, to at least have one party. So they're not just buying the kit and not doing anything. At least have one party to get their money back, and then they're probably going to get bookings from that party.
Right.
Any other comments? All right, well, I will stop the recording.